taking the other way. Ready? Plant, go. Sprint. Line up behind the damn plant. Attaboy. Here you go, Rich. Hey, Dutch, come over. Attack, attaboy. Yeah, you're coming on this side this time, Einstein. Come here, Attaway. Get there. Get there quick, finish through the line. Don't get your ass run over. There we go, Jim. One right there. On the stay on that circle, man. Come on, get there, Foley. That's it. Finish, Foley. Finish. You don't get time off. You're quick. Get him, Jeff. Get him. Now stay tight on that thing, Andrew. Fine. This way, pushing beams. This way, pushing beams. That's it. You're leading the way. Here we go. Push him. Switching sides, beams. Need more switching sides. Whoa. Oh, fuck. All right, F-man.
Players, the cones that are standing up with the points are the cones that are the players. So they're only attacking one side. We use the other side for them just to kind of regroup. So it's real important as these guys come out, you can see them breaking down, then shuffling out of it, breaking down, shuffling out of it. We really like to see these guys nice and square, ending that breakup. Should be arriving with a poke every time. We're out here arriving with a poke, using that 6 feet of pole as much as we can. So now those defensemen have more time to react. Great job of really breaking down. You can see our guys are naturally just forcing them to one side. They're not squaring up the cone exactly. Again, we want to see those poke checks. Get that poke check in every time we break down. Want to see the poke, Sinking our hips. You know, these guys, some of them are football guys, so they have pretty good hip levels already. But when we say sinking our hips, we mean really dropping down in as we stop our feet, as we start to pound our feet into the ground. Our hips should sink lower, which makes us better athletes. It allows us to change directions faster. So we can see him sit down is pretty good. Good. We really like to encourage our guys to over-exaggerate these drop steps. Just the better habits we can get in, the better off we are when it comes to real game time. You know, we really make sure these guys are breaking down first. Make sure they break down first before they go to their drop step. You know, the tendency is for guys just to try to get through these drills, try to do it, but we'd rather have them go slower and really take big drop steps, really open up their hips, and do this drill right than we would necessarily have them get through it. Guys, it's real important that we break.
Next drill we're going to show you is our 7-cone footwork drill. Okay, this is another great conditioner where we focus on the footwork and the body movement and the foot movement and just how we open up to the ball defensively. It's real important. That we continue to bang home these ideas and make sure we're pushing these ideas on our guys and making sure they're doing it right. It's also a conditioning drill, okay? So we get them pretty active, and you'll hear some of the coaching points that we're trying to make throughout the drill here. We'll start here in the corner. We'll start with shuffle only here. Let's start it out. And let's get this thing going, okay? Number 13 will do a good job shuffling to the cone. He'll drop step, shuffle to the next cone.
Let's go get that stick out, off your hips.
You hear coach telling them to get their stick out and off the hips, okay? We don't want them using their stick as they get tired. Want to make sure their stick's in the lane, okay? Making sure that they're broken down pretty well, okay? Bent at the knees, okay? Straight back. We don't want them bending at the waist, okay? Good job here by number 12, breaking down, stick in front. Now, the first couple of times they go through it, it's a good drill, okay? Depending on how it looks in the second, third, fourth, fifth run will really tell you the conditioning of your group. This is our third day of fall ball practice, so it's a mixed bag here at times, but you know, I think if they focus on the right things, it's certainly a drill that can be real helpful in their development.
Hands out.
You notice 23 doing a great job with his straight back here, broken down, okay, stick in front, okay. You know, it's pretty impressive when it's done right, and we can really see who the guys have been coached well, who know how to who know the footwork and can play this game. Coach, let's see it, the same thing coming back.
Same thing. Let's get it going.
3/4.
Nope.
3/4. Okay. They're running 3/4. They're kind of as if they're simulating as if they're running with their attackman, hip to hip. Okay, you're not always going to shuffle when you play the position of defense. There's going to be a time where you got to go, you know, hip to hip and run with them. Okay, and again, this is one of those things that we want to work on with our guys every day. Okay, it's something that some coaches take for granted. We don't here. It's something that we feel like we have to teach, and certainly ideas that we feel like we have to bang home every day.
On that approach, breaking down. There we go.
We never want a defensive player to sprint out at a guy and not be able to have body control, because if he sprints out at a guy and doesn't control his body, he's going to get dodged by. Okay, the offensive player is going to run by him. So we got to do a good job of breaking down.
He jamming it up.
These guys are in day 3 of fall ball, and some of these guys are breathing heavy already. They're breathing heavy. The ongoing joke is if we don't like how it looks, I tell them we'll do it until I get tired. And
sink those hips, sink those hips.
You know the old saying, do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long. Okay, this isn't quite long yet, but
good footwork, good footwork.
You know, if they didn't listen to the coaching staff and they weren't working on the fundamentals and focusing on the things that we're looking for, this is one that you can keep running, and sooner or later they'll figure it out. That's for sure. So, but
when we do this, we explode out on the fire call. We get out to the cone, we break down over the cone, you know, we sink our hips, get set as if we're ready to throw that hard jam or a first poke check. When we get to the ball, we always, in this drill, we always open up the inside. We teach you always want to open to the ball. In this drill, we don't have a ball, so we always have that drop step open to the inside. So as he would come out, break down, drop step open to the inside, would swing that left foot in, sprint in, be using his communication. I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. He'd get to that first cone again, and then he'd redesignate himself as the hot, stick to the inside, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, and then he'd fire out. You know, fire, fly out to this cone, and then as we reco, as that first guy recos from the third cone in, that's when we send the next guy out to to cone 2 here. What we tend to do is if we get going a little too quick with our succession, we run into each other and we kind of cheapen the drill because if too many guys going and they're worried about running into each other, we want this to be, you know, we don't want to take away from any individual's reps. We want it to be as clean and true as possible, so we try and give them a little bit of time as we're going. And the progression goes all the way through, and you notice we have a line to one side or the other of the cage. We like to have it actually opposite of which way we're going so that on this last reco, he can sprint all the way through that cone. We want him to finish strong. We always want to finish every rep as strong, as hard as we can. You know, it's important to start strong. We always want to finish strong as well. So in this way, the line's out of the way on that back side so we can sprint all the way through, and then the next guy in the line can step up and be ready to go. And again, the big thing here, I mean, the focuses here are having proper body control, you know, on all slides, recoveries, consistent usage of our team lingo. Whatever the lingo is, some people use hot, some people use on the go, whatever it is, the more important part is that you're drilling it, you know, time and time again in these drills. It doesn't really matter what terms you're using. Obviously here, we use fire, in and reco, and the hot call. And again, the emphasis is on body control, doing it right rather than doing it quickly just to get it over with.
The next drill we're going to show you here is our star drill. We call it simply that. It's a defensive movement drill that we get our guys working, again, a lot like Coach Koch talked about. Inside, we want to try to make sure we're sprinting hard. We're calling fire. Make sure we're calling Rico or in on the recovery. And we want to get our guys used to this movement, okay? It's an inside out, back inside type of drill. You'll see these guys moving pretty good. We'll show you a couple of minutes of it, and we'll point out some teaching points. Let's get it started, Coach Koch.
Here we go. Designated hot every time. Let's get it going, Matt.
Now, Coach Koch is one of the most fired-up defensive coordinators in the country, and he's not showing it today, maybe because the microphone's on him, but he usually gets on these guys pretty good. Okay, if he doesn't like how they're doing it, we get on them. Coach Koch gets these guys working pretty good.
Sprint all the way through the backside. Don't stop. Get all the way through. Get all the way through. There you go. Now you're out.
We want them to establish themselves in the middle a little bit before they fire out again. So if you notice, 21 will get back to the middle, and then he'll fire out again. If you look at number 19 here, who's in the middle, he'll establish himself. Establish yourself inside a little bit first.
Set your feet on the inside. Set your feet on the inside is the hot.
11 does a good job.
Come on, guys. No ring turns.
Does a good job of getting there.
Do it right.
Sticks in the right spot. Broken down well. Always looking to where he's going to. Broken down. Okay. Doing a good job of getting sticks inside.
Nice, Tim. There you go. Come on. Get all the way out to those cones, fellas. Stop cutting it short. There you go, Logan.
Pretty basic drill here, but you know what? It works on the important parts of the game here. Okay. And some of these guys are doing this drill for the first time or the second time in their careers, okay?
There you go.
Number 6 has done this for 4 years now. He's a D-midi, a short stick D-midi, does a nice job. You notice he establishes himself inside, and then he'll fire out, okay? Real important that they get there broken down. Real important that they're focused on talking through it. You hear them yelling fire, you hear them in, or Rico, Rico, Rico.
Come on, set your feet as the hot. Don't just float out to the slide. You're not going to do that in the game. Other side. Wait, though. Wait, though. Nice. Finish strong. Finish strong.
Back pedal. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Change. Sideways run, sideways run, sideways run. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Drive, drive, drive. Change. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Drive, drive, drive. Change. Sideways run, sideways run, sideways run, sideways run. Shuffle, shuffle, drive. Change. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Sideways run. Drive. So again, called the dolphin drill, spatial awareness.
Cones. And this clip will come up, we'll goose it back behind us through the back 2 cones, and you can do that anywhere you want. Work in using a ladder or cone drill, and then work on the exploding out of it, scooping the GB, rolling away, getting our stick in front of us as you see there in the clip, getting our head up and looking to make a pass across. So looking at it yet again, we want to come through it, get some footwork in while we're working on the GBs, get low, roll away, eyes up, hands up, and be ready to make the pass. On this next one, we're going to add some cones to simulate scooping the ball going through traffic. So by putting the 3 cones there, we want to explode through those 3 cones upfield. Then we want to roll away, get the stick out and away from the riding man. Once again, right here, we want to get the ball early, get low, low, explode through the cones as if that is where the checks would be coming down. As we roll away, we get our eyes up and our stick in front of us so that we can make that cross-field pass. A key piece to what we want to do in ground ball work this year is we really want to focus on being able to goose the ball as well. So by putting these
Back and just go the other way. This isn't like rocket science, you know. Back and just go the other way. This isn't like rocket science, you know.
Switch. Here we go. Let's go different on the way back. Step to the right, Jack, so I can see. Sticks are out. Go. Good. Go. Stick out. You don't want to wind up. Go ahead. Drive, run, make sure you guys open. Drive, run, make sure you guys are opening your hips and running. Drive, run, make sure you guys are opening your hips and running. Run past that line.
Ball. There you go, Cab. Ball. There you go, Cab. Beast mode.
Go.
Got you, Cab. Ball. There you go, Cab. Beast mode.
Go.
Got you, Cab.
Ball. Concentrate on your approach. Sticks are out. Go.
Ball.
Ryan, don't want.
Stick. Quiet stick means keep your stick out, stay low. All right. You just want to have that mental plan how you're going to defend the ball. We'll go through every single movement there is as a defender. All right. So now we'll learn how to drop steps. See, when we hit the line, we put boundaries. So now guys can open up and step with their inside foot, not crossing over, whatever it may be. Not being able, when a guy turns, not having the stick open up, keeping the stick out. And we'll do it both ways. So they go. Just so you guys understand, okay? And I'll skip it through a little bit, so you guys don't go too crazy. All right. Okay, now we'll start opening up and running. So now we just went from shuffling, we'll shuffle to run, and we go a little bit faster, shuffle to run. We shuffle playing square and run. And we try to tell our guys, turn on the corner, which now tightens our angles when we want to change direction.
Okay, then we'll do a backpedaling. That's Tyler Narr from LaSalle right there, and missed the line by about 4 yards. That's not a good sign. He's in grad school now. Big thing is with our hands. We talk about when we play defense, don't have your hands and hips. Have your hands up and away like you want to bench press, all right? Because when everybody starts out playing defense, we start out playing defense with our hands down on our hips, but we tell the guy to break down, and his hands are at his hips. Now he's playing defense with his hands at his knees. Tell our hands, make sure they stay up. You're pass blocking on defense. Okay? Okay, our 3-step approach. We take down the approach to its simplest form.
Rotate, okay? We're not going to fly down there. Ready? What's your ball call? Ball! 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 Check! Ball! Check! Ball! Good. What are you doing? Good. Good job. Huh? Good job.
It's filming.
Hey, get back to that cone. You're on the string.
Coach B's doing a thing for the cross
Imagine
convention.
yourself being tied for the last band of this center cone. You want to fly back to it and go on to our next angle out. All right? Here we go, keepers. That's a great job, this group.
Counterclockwise.
Slide over, back. Excellent! One more big one. Jesse, back, Jake. Back here, Jake, get there. Slide! Good job. Hey, hey, hey. Gotta have our head on the tire, guys. Hey, guys. Focus up. Right heel. Yes!
Hey, Sharky, out in front. Jake, hey, Jake. Harder on the ground. Yeah, go up. Hyper on the ground, come in. Yes, Sharky. I got Jake. Hey, Jake.
Get 3 balls going. I want 3 balls going every time. Back up. Back to the ball. Bucket back to the midfield line. Get to the midfield line.
Good, Jordan, go up.
Campbell Armstrong, go get a ball, button your chin strap and get on the wall.
Hey, sticks towards the end line. Face the thorns again. Let's go. Open up those hips.
Hey, someone down from there.
Good, Ben. Time break, sit lower. Good, all right, here we go, guys. Open the
Hey, up top. Hey, Rooster, come to me, Rooster, on the side. Hey, one more.
Sticks towards the end line. Sticks towards the end line. Going to your right.
Back up, guys. Back up.
Exaggerated. See the cradle on the wrist. A little softer wrist range. Softer wrist, Connor Burke. All right.
Go the other way. Figure it out. Go.
try to shade that side a little bit more.
We have, pretend that we draw dotted lines up these pipes all the way up the field. If you're not inside, then you're going to hurt us. You can't be afraid to be inside and help your teammates. If you're outside of where we are, it's too easy for them to break us down. So we want to play team defense, and we want to be into the pipes. That's one of our calls. Everybody into the pipes, off ball. All right? If you're drifting out, we don't push out. If Coach Myers has the ball, and that we know this ball is going to Coach Taring, we're not going to come out with this guy like a lot of teams do. They'll shut this guy off so he doesn't have the easy outlet. We're not really concerned about that because what we want to do is we know what they're trying to do. They're going to get the ball here, they're going to get it to X and try and get to 2-on-1. So if this guy's not a dodger, a shooter, or whatever, it doesn't bother us. We're going to stay inside to help our players out. We're going to stay in there and force all shots outside. We do not want to give up any easy shots in the middle, okay? And our biggest key here is when we start to get kids that play lacrosse for us or they go to college, they're very uncomfortable playing defense like this. So I think that the younger coaches, the junior coaches, the high school coaches, because all the colleges basically play like this, it's time to start teaching this kind of defense. Our key here is when you're up top, whether it's this side of the field or that side of the field, you are going to be one step closer to the midfield than your opponent. That's our key. It doesn't matter anything else. We don't care, really. We care, but you want to be in good position. But if you're going to make mistakes or whatever, the one mistake you're not going to make is you're not going to be below him. You're going to be one step higher than him, closest to the midfield. So if this is the midfield, Coach Bryan is one step higher. All right? There's a couple ways to play this. One way is Coach Myers is going to go to the goal, and Coach Bryan is just going to maintain his position. All right, he's going to trail him a little bit, just start to walk. All right, we're going to trail him a little bit, and we're going to try and get on his hips, and we're going to try and drive him to the sideline. Keep your head up, Josh. We're going to try and drive him to the sideline. All right, come on back a minute. If he's a shooter, we might tell our defense, our long pole, to get your stick in front of him because we know he's a shooter. All right? But that sets us up for the guy coming behind us, rolling back, and we don't want that to happen. Later on, we don't care if that happens, but right now, we don't want that to happen. I'm a big believer. The only check that we talk about the whole time is, Josh knows, I hate this. This guy's, Coach Myers is 215 pounds, fast as crap, and this slap check is not going to help us. Not going to help us at all. But he can't go left on a green light. All right, so we're fine. All we want to do is we want to lift from elbow to armpit. Because first of all, once again, we're renting space in this guy's head. We want him to think. Our first move initially is we're getting good position. We're back here. If you want to, we don't talk about all the shoulder, feet stuff. We just say you're one step closer to the midfield than the next guy. My first thing is, if I know that Brian's going down the alley, my first thing is just throw the check because it's going to keep him that way. All right, so he's going to have to protect his stick. We throw our check. We're staying in good position. All right. Now, as he starts going down the field, our whole philosophy is we're going elbow to armpit. We're in here. We're lifting up. I've watched tons of tape. I've only seen the ball bounce out of the stick maybe 5 times on a slap check. Slap check, waste of time for me. I mean, that's my own philosophy. You can do what you want. But the elbow to armpit, what that creates here is this guy's now trying to fight it off. He's off balance. Here, Josh, get under. If Josh is lifting under his arm, and then we drive in, he's off balance, we drive into him, get him to the sidelines, we should be in pretty good shape. If we're just letting him throwing little slap checks, Brian, with his size and speed, may step away, get a good shot, all right? And that's going to, That's not going to help us. As Brian starts to shoot, Coach Bryant wants to get his arms, elbow to armpit, and he's lifting. Lifting the whole time. We are lifting all the time, making sure we drive that guy to the sideline. All right? The other thing is, initially, we do not want this guy to turn back on us. All right? We do not want this guy to turn back on us. So we got good position, one step closer to the midline, we're lifting. Now, our goalie call here. Our goalie call is going to be, we don't have a goalie today, as he gets closer to the goal and we think that he's a threat to score, our philosophy from our goalies is to get into him. Get into him. That's our call. Get into him. And Josh is going to get into him, drive him to the sideline. All right, we're going to try and get him to the sideline. We've got to keep good position, make sure he doesn't roll back on us. We're going to get into him, get him to the sideline. All right? And this is a crease position. If you're playing the crease, what's our position supposed to be, Kevin? Brandon, do you know? Butt to the ball side sideline. If you're playing the crease, that's all you got to remember. Butt to the ball side sideline. So Coach Florio is going to maintain contact with his crease man, with his stick, but his butt's to the ball side sideline. And why is that? Because that keeps him from not staring at the ball, letting his crease man cut wherever he wants. He's got we've actually started to do this with all of our players now. So Coach DeFelice would be right here, and his butt he's watching his man. His butt is more to the ball side sideline. All right, because that way we don't have this happening. This guy's watching the ball carrier. Here this guy goes. He cuts, throws off our defense. Everybody's cutting. We've lost control. The way we get beat defensively is not in our 6-on-6. It's in our transition and when people cut behind us. So to square our shoulders to the end line. Square your shoulders to the end line and play defense. Now, Coach McDermott's already in bad position, but that's because of the small field. What we want to do here is his shoulders are squared to the end line. You watch many teams, and they'll tell you, take your foot, put it on his inside foot or whatever like that to make him go inside. But you can't do it this way. It's hard to do it because these guys make one step, and you're done. You're done. It's gone. One thing, before we get back to this real quick, if Coach Meyer, one of the problem. So we never step. I tell our guys, what are you stepping in for? Do you think you're going to take the ball? That's not our defense. We don't want to take the ball from these guys. We want to rent some space in their head, make them think about what they got to do, where are they going to go, and we play it from there. So Coach Brian is just taking us virtually a parallel line down. He's like running his toes along the line, and he's going to start lifting, if we can get it. All right. So we never want to make that initial step, that initial diagonal step in here. You just don't want to do it. And you'd be surprised how easy defense you can play if you just do the simple things and don't get in your head that you have to take the ball. We do not have to take the ball. They will make a mistake. Over here,
field and the Dodgers made his decision. Now we want to work on making him go wider and wider. How we do this is what we call the back hip technique. We want to get on the opposing player's back hip and drive him towards the sideline. In this particular drill, our goal is to drive him wide of the cones. We do not want to do this with one big push, rather a slow, continuous pressure on that back hip, which, like I said, drives him wide of the cone. So the first part of this drill is he's rolling the ball out, and now is our approach. When we approach someone, we really want to focus on taking something away. That first example was not very good. It's really important to our guys that we get up nice and high, and we, as short sticks or as long sticks, we really want to spread the field on them. Good, a little bit better job there coming up and taking something away. Ideally, we're getting this ball to roll out to them, and now we're coming up and attacking, moving upfield, so we're a little bit more game-like instead of just sitting back waiting for these guys. So that first part again is we want to come upfield, and now we want to take something away. We call it playing with leverage. We want to, usually and typically for us, is forcing people down the side, away from the middle of the field. The second part of this drill now is, you can see the cones on the bottom part of the screen, is where we want to make guys go wide. If we don't want to let our offensive players, the Dodgers, get inside those cones. So how do we do that? Do we do it with one big push? No, we're pretty big believers in we want to drive people. We never expect our short sticks to take the ball away. We don't really ask our long sticks to take the ball away too much, except for being in good body position. So as these guys come, what we want to see is what we call that back hip technique. So we encourage these guys to get beat, take something away, and get beat down the side. That's great. So now here, good job finishing the drill there. But
or one-on-one play. We just reviewed how to address the ball. Well, now what we'd like to show you is actually how to handle or how to take that initial move by the offensive player. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out, we're going to have the guys retreat and show you the drill first. We'll then stop, we'll walk through exactly what we did, and then we'll go through the drill again. What I hope you'll see as we move forward here is us taking the next step in the progression of playing the ball, yet we're still concentrating or focusing on some of those techniques we just showed you in regards to addressing the ball. One guy out, one guy in. Two hands. As you hear now, as we move forward, you're hearing our goalie now tell him what's expected. Good job. Next guy. Go. We're now forcing our defenders to think a little bit and to be aware and have situational awareness. Good. Again, we're continuing to work on addressing the ball. We're continuing to work on retreating. Now let me explain exactly what you just saw. What we're trying to accomplish here is teach our guys how to play at the goal line. These cones are basically our footprint. What we've tried to do is indicate with the cones the area of the field that we want to make sure we don't allow that offensive player to get beyond or above. So as you can see, these cones are designed. They don't go any higher than 3 yards above the goal line. And what they do is they arc and then they start to fade or taper toward the sideline. That indicates to our guys exactly the pattern we'd like to follow when we're approaching the goal line, locking up with an offensive player to drive them away from the goal, and the cones are basically a pattern for us to follow as we drive that player away from the goal. Again, they're no higher than 3 yards because we don't ever want to allow an attackman or an offensive player dodging from behind to get above 3 yards. Earlier in this video, when we began, I numbered the field. I showed you the important areas of the field. And one of the areas that I put great emphasis on was the area we call the island, the area 5 yards above and 5 yards wide of the goal. Well, if you take that area that we discussed then and you look at the field now and where the cones are, the cones don't go any higher than 3, and they don't allow you inside of 5. So what we're trying to do with the cones is teach our guys to take away all that area above it. And by doing so, it will now put an offense player or an attackman in a position where he's really not as dangerous. Again, as discussed earlier, if we allow an attackman to get to 5 yards above goal line, 5 yards wide, he's in a very dangerous area. In this situation, we've taken that away. What we'll do is we'll walk through step by step. There's a gate that each defensive player is going to go through. You see the 2 cones nearest the goal line extended. One about 2 or 3 yards behind it, one exactly at the pipe on goal line extended. That's helping us teach our defenders the angle they want to take to beat that offensive player to a spot. We want to use the crease. The crease is our friend defensively. An offensive player can't travel through it. We can. It allows us to play on those straight lines and angles that I've discussed, whereas an offensive player has to take an arc around it. So we'll come through the gate, the two cones that kind of guide us above the goal line extended, and then you see the cones begin to arc. Well, that shows us how we want to, as we get closer to the goal line and then further above it, how we want to turn our body and eventually have our body facing the corner of the field. Playing defense at the goal line is like a gate. The gate is either open or closed. By using these cones, it teaches our players how to close the gate. For instance, you'll stop. As you see, when this defender approached the goal line, he took an angle, not of pursuit, but an angle to beat the offensive player to the spot. Again, we've constantly talked about not allowing the offensive player to get to the top side. That 5 and 5 area, 5 yards above, 5 yards wide, gives an offensive player the option of shooting this way, turning and shooting this way with an angle. These cones, as we discussed, don't go higher than 3 yards. An offensive player has less of an angle here and certainly very little angle here. Thus, the cones being no higher than that. As you saw, this defender came through and he's following the footprint, the cones. So it's teaching him how to take a good angle to beat an offensive player to the goal line, to the spot. And then it's teaching him to turn his hips, or as we discussed, close that gate so his top foot is facing the corner of the field. You don't see us later in terms of how we're going to play at the goal line and how we're going to drive. As I inside roll, we plant. We drop step down the line. And now as I lift my foot offensively to attack the other side of the goal, this defender is going to squeeze me behind. And now he's pushing me back behind the goal, which falls into place with our whole philosophy that we want to take away the top side and force everything back behind the goal. Once he's done that, our goalie will yell, "You're good." Now he's going to pretend or assume the attackman has now tried to go to the other side, and we're going to run over the goal. We're not going to jump. We're going to run over it, and you saw immediately that defender took an angle to beat the offensive player to a spot. He's following the footprint to get his body positioning correct to drive that attackman or that offensive player away. And then when he gets here, he again plants, drops, and then squeezes behind. We'll go through the drill full speed now. Good. Good job, good job. The advantage drill, we're going to start it right at the point behind. We're going to keep the cones, but we're going to take another defender, use him as an offensive player, so that now we're, instead of just following the cones, we're actually defending a body or a person. To start the drill, what we've done is we've taken this defenseman, number 43. He is the offensive player. We've provided him with an advantage over our defensive player. Often that's going to happen when you're playing a guy behind the goal. You're going to wind up a step or two behind. That does not mean you're beat. Because we play on straight lines and angles, and because we have this area called the crease, and we're able to go through it, it allows us to, a shortcut, so to speak, to beat that offensive player to a spot. So what we've done is we've given the offensive player an advantage. It's going to teach this defender to take the appropriate, to get over the goal, to take the appropriate angle, and use this footprint to actually lock up and drive this offensive player away from the goal, react to an inside roll, and then again, take a straight line over the goal without jumping, and then following that footprint on the other side in regards to turning your hips, driving that player away from the goal, and defending him. Stay low, Sam. Good job. You can see what we'd like to do is we'd like to get that hold. When we lock up, we'd like to get right on that waistband, right on the hips. And here's a simple teaching tool that everybody should use. If you take 2 fingers, I'm going to have this defenseman walk toward the goal, and with 2 fingers on his hip, I'm able to push him away from the goal. The point is to show that an offensive player has no strength in his hips. He's got it in his legs and his upper body. So we don't want to hold, obviously down here would be a penalty, and we don't want to hold or lock up and drive too high because we would wind up coming up into his helmet, which is a penalty, but he's stronger up here than we are. So if we get down on the hips, on that waistline, and drive there, each step he takes with 2 fingers, I'll be able to push him away from the goal. It seems really silly. We'll do it one more time. Lean a little harder if you don't mind. When you think about it, there's no strength in your hips. That puts us off balance. We want him to continue to look at the offensive player he is covering. Let's go. Full speed. Take the right angle. Get over and take it. Get over and take an angle. It's
call our 2-man check drill to work on our hands and our quickness. All right. They're performing first the M. Then they go to the letter W. You can see them now forming a letter W. Then they go to the letter O. And then they go to figure 8s. 20 seconds roughly each, reinforces eye-hand coordination, stick speed, staying low in a good stance. All right.
With the partner. Big thing is right here. Okay? Do not over approach. What I mean by over approaching, when you break down and your stick is down, we talk. I use some weird coaching cues. We play Tickle Me Elmo. I know that sounds kind of weird. And I got a daughter, she got like 75 things from Elmo for Christmas. I don't even know. But what that means is when my daughter has a doll, you tickle him in his stomach, he starts giggling. All right? So what we talked about is, well, Tickle Me Elmo, have your stick head go right into that guy's stomach. Now, if that stick head is past that guy on his hip or past his body, you have over approached. You only have a 6-foot pole. Why give that guy an extra foot to get into your hands? We don't want that to happen. All right. We want to have a physical jam. We want to be physical. Knock an offensive guy off his line. Every offensive guy, Coach Cassis, obviously very talented player, but he doesn't want to get banged on, every time he dodges. He wants the guys to break down and go, okay, go down the alley, we're going to slide to you, because then he can do whatever he wants. What he doesn't want to do is, like he's walking into the Tower Inn in Port Jeff Station, is get up on a guy, and the guy's beating the hell out of him, and say, all right, I'm done with this, and get the ball away. Right? So we want to be very, very physical on the ball. Right? And our stick head, like I said before, should never face, when we open up, should never face the sideline or end line, which means we're opening up our hands and now allowing that guy to get into our buffer zone, which would be where our stick is at. Okay, good. We take a good angle, we initiate the contact. If you're going to play defensively and you don't want to get hit, go play attack. Okay? Now, our coach right here, we're breaking down, we're doing a good job. Our coach right here, that's where we're telling our offensive guys to run. Because our offensive guys just started running, and they're all defensemen trying to play offense. They all started running here and really not helping out. So we told him to run here, because that's where offensive guys want to get down the ladder for guys who have a football field. Right? We want
down. We're going to shuffle, get some checks, recover to the inside, see the ball down, explode through it, scoop it up, and get upfield. Come out, break down, take that angle, cut the field in half, Shuffle on the hands. Let's recover to the inside. Get our sticks into the middle of the field in those passing lanes. See the GB, explode to it, get our eyes on it, get low, scoop through it, and explode upfield to be able to push the ball. Good angles. So right here, using a cone and a bucket, we're really working on coming out, breaking down, cutting the field in half, okay, to really dictate where our guy is going to go. You see here, as we get low, we want to have the weight on the balls of our feet. We want to take the field, cut it in half, and dictate where he can go. Here we're going to add a breakdown and then a shuffle. So we're just adding one more cone, but you'll see you're coming out over about 8 yards, break down, shuffle, stay low, keep your posture, and keep your poise. On this last one, we're going to add another layer. So we'll come out, we'll break down, we're going to shuffle, and then we're going to recover into the hole with our stick leading to the inside. So once again, we'll come out, we're going to break down, taking a good angle, cutting the field in half, stick upfield and on the gloves, slide, bang, come back to the middle to recover, stick leading to the inside to get in the passing lane.
About 2.5 yards up, all right? You're just going to take 1, 2, 3 steps, break down, real slow drill, and what we want to do, we want to make sure our guys aren't leaning, not falling forward. We want to make sure we're in good position when we address and break down on the ball. Okay, so we have these guys right here. You watch these guys, they'll break down, just 3 steps. All right, your aiming points, what you want to do, you want to put your put a defender, you want to have his left foot on the left foot. Okay, if a guy is on the right-handed alley, right foot on right foot. Okay, he wants to get his hands above his man. Doesn't want to have his hands inside of his man. Hands above. I believe it didn't start out like this. It was painstaking sometimes. But you got to teach the guys to do the things the right way. Does that make sense right there? Okay. This is our hawk drill. This is another. Now we'll take the progression to now we start to move. We'll use this as a pregame drill about 5 yards away. And I'll make sure I'll set it up here and you guys can see it real quick. Okay, we'll set a cone up 5 yards. This cone right here, this is your aiming point. What we don't want to do, what we saw is that we started to just have these 2 cones right here. We just break up the lines, and then when we've done one side, you just flip to the other. When you go out and break down and address the ball, we want to get outside the cone. Right? When we play up top, we talk about landmarks. We talk about landmarks on our approaches. When the ball is up top, our landmark is, we want to make sure we get outside the restraining line. When our landmark is on the wing, we want to make sure we straddle the numbers. Right? So now we're not playing a guy. We thought at first, and especially some of the other places I coached at, when I was at Maryland, I was fortunate enough to have some pretty good guys where we were able to play guys out at the midfield line. Right? Well, we can't do that here. So we got to play to our personnel. We want to make sure if we do a good job and play within 20 yards, we'll have a better chance of not getting blown out of the water, right? And being able to defend the ball properly on the ball. Now when we break down, we use cones a lot for our guys. Visual learners. So was I. You can tell me something, I go, okay. Can somebody do it, please? This is the way I am. That's the way my marriage is going, too. That's a whole other story. That's a whole other thing. A little bit longer than 45 minutes. Okay. We want to make sure when we step, we do not want to make our first step going towards the end line. We want to make our first step going towards the numbers of the field. We talk about playing on a diamond a lot. So if you put a cone on the 20, the 20, a cone at X, and a cone at the top, we want to run on those angles, and those are going to be our aiming points. Right? What happens is we found out right away that these guys were breaking down, and then all of a sudden just going right back down the same plane they broke down on, and that allows an offensive guy to get a straight line in the cage. We want to initiate contact, because what I talked about first. We want to make sure we make the first contact. We want to make sure I'm going to watch those guys first, that first step. That first step is, we talk about shuffle step. A little quick shuffle step to make sure we don't bring our top foot over and get crisscrossed. Okay, we want to make sure we have our sticks out. We don't want to pull our sticks when we change direction. We don't want to pull our sticks and have them face the midfield line to the sideline. We don't want to open up and allow that guy to get into them. Our offense got to get into us.
We'll ask the defender to not line up in a straight line between the goal and his man, but to take a step or two to the middle, to the inside, to have his body positioning force the Dodger to go down the side and not beat us to the middle. Critical for our team defensive slide schemes, because we want to know where's the Dodger going to beat us if he does beat us. The hot man, it makes it a lot easier for our packages if he knows, okay, the slide, when I slide, it's going to be here, not over here to the middle of the field. especially critical if we're coming with an adjacent slide scheme. If we're coming with an adjacent slide scheme and my adjacent defender's here, well, if we can force him down the side into him, perfect. But we're going to have a heck of a time for an adjacent defender to slide if this midi beats us to this side. We're going to have to rely on a different defender in that case, and it throws off our defensive slide schemes. Taking away top side, I'm going to move down over here. Now, let's say we've got a dodge coming from along the GLE. We want this defenseman take the top side away. So top side meaning we do not want this midi to beat us above the GLE, above. Instead, we want to force him underneath and keep him under here where he can be less of a goal-scoring threat. Third position to dodge from, if an attackman dodges from X or a midfielder in an invert situation, again, we want to use this line. We don't want this offensive player beating us around and coming around the goal this way. If this man were to dodge and get close to the GLE or a little bit above it, if he was going to beat us, we would want him to inside roll and be forced underneath. Again, forcing these dodgers under where they cannot be goal scorers, only feeders. So therefore, if we do have to slide, we're in a better position as a defense. Now the big
All right, this is our one-on-one drill before we go with sticks. We go 3 lines. We start them out with short pulls, so we're just working on pushing, and we're working on footwork.
Most important thing we can do to start defending the ball is actually address it in an appropriate way. As I said earlier, one of our goals is to constantly dictate to the offense where we want them to go. Defense, we believe it's important to dictate to the offense rather than to allow them to dictate to you. What we've done in this address drill is we're working on our individual technique on how to address a ball carrier and start defending the ball. So what I'd like to do right now is bring out a defender. We'll show you exactly how we address the ball, and we'll break it down from foot positioning to body positioning to stick positioning. Okay? Then what we'll do is we'll drill it again. We'll show you exactly what we've done, why we've done it, and how we've done it, and how it all fits within our defensive schemes. Okay, as you can see, the drill begins with 2 defenders. What we're doing here was we're using all defensive personnel. Too often we feel like, and what do we mean by addressing the ball carrier? What it means is how we come out and start our one-on-one defense. And we believe one-on-one defense, besides starting with a disposition to dominate your opponent, it really begins with how you address the ball. So we've got our 2 defenders out here. This defender here will be an offensive player. This defender here, number 43, will be a defensive player. Okay? As I blow the whistle, we'll walk through step by step the footwork positioning, the body positioning, and then the stick positioning. As you see, our rule of thumb is that we want to dictate to the offense what area of the field we're going to force them to. So our defender right here knows that most attackmen that are playing in the 1 position, the back right offensive position, are right-handed. That goes from the youth league all the way on up to the pro league. Most people that play on the right side of the goal are right-handers. Most that play on the left side are left-handed. So you see our defender has come out, and the first thing he's done
is he's overplayed this offensive player's right hand, thus dictating to him where we're going to allow him to go. The goal is to always force the dodger back behind the goal. Reason being, if we force him behind the goal, he can't score a goal. All he can do is feed. If we allow him to the top side of the goal, then obviously he can feed and score a goal. The next part in addressing the ball is taking away an area of the field, but how do we do that? Well, we do that by using a specific technique with our feet. And as you can see, this defender right now has his outside foot forward, his inside foot back, and his feet are heel to toe. So if I drew a line from his heel to his toe, you can see this defender has his left foot forward, taking away the offensive player's right hand, his right foot back.
A break on a ball when it leaves an opponent's stick, and then teaching our guys confidence and technique in the varying approach angles that you're going to make when you leave an off-ball situation to meeting the ball. And probably one of the scarier things in those situations is making a long approach to an offensive player who's maybe selling a hitch or a split or a swim or any kind of move that you can't predict, and then developing the technique and the confidence to react to a double move. And then at the end of the drill, you're going to get a ground ball when you're tired and fatigued and you have to escape into space. And like a lot of our drills, gives us the capability to have our guys to get many reps as possible because we'll have multiple groups going. So as we come over here to the schematics of the drill, you can see it's called umbrella, and we can have 4 or 5 of these groups going on at once. We will have all of our close defensemen, all of our long stick middies, and our short stick middies, and often we'll roll into the attack and our one-way middies as well. So arrayed on the perimeter are 4 players playing the role of offensive players. And often these are close defensemen, long stick players. So we're developing them confidence. They're getting some repetitions too to handle the ball and to act as dodgers, so to speak. So, and this player is kind of what we call a baseline player. His job is just to transfer the ball out onto the perimeter. We have a cone or some sort of water bottle or whatever you have to act as kind of the hub or the crease area, and there's only one defensive player working on these approaches, and then the coach can put himself in a situation where he can see these approaches as well as make the teaching points as the drill goes on. So at the start of the drill, the ball will start with 0-4 here. Our D1 will orient himself in relation to these perimeter offensive players and around this cone. He's starting his athletic stance. The ball gets transferred to any one of these guys. There's no sequence. So if he throws it to 0-3, he makes the short approach, and 0-3 is going to double move. And he can do whatever kind of move he wants. He wants to hitch, he wants to split, whatever he wants. And D1 has to move with him. 0-3 rolls out of his move, transfers the ball back to 0-4. All defensemen, long sticks, and close defensemen, and you might have some short stick D-middies as well. And the guys on the perimeter have to do a double or a triple move. They can do a split into a roll, or a split into a swim, or a roll and a rocker, or a hitch, whatever you want to do to replicate some of the things that your defenseman might see. And we're also having some interior communications from the 2 defensemen who are inside that triangle. And we're going to finish every drill with a slide, a strip, and a ground ball escape. Each rep for the group. University. Catch and throw now. Head ball. Okay. Face dodge into roll. Catch and throw. Come in a bit. Head ball. Hey, next time we do it, when you hear me yell go, let's get the second guy to release, and then get a stay call. The guy face dodges into a roll. Is that a roll? You hear go, you're already cheated. You got a roll, you get a stay right call, and then come and put that ball down on the ground and play out the ground ball. Right? And another level, too. Good job.
That when the ball goes shot bang out of bounds, they stop. And if I'm here when the whistle blows, I am now out of position. Okay, when the ball's behind the goal, my perfect position is inside shoulder here, my inside shoulder to the outside shoulder of my opponent, okay, with my shoulder square to the back line. So if the 5-yard line here is the back line, he steps in, what I want to be able to do is close, listen to the goalie who's going to tell me where to set up, and as soon as he gets me in the right position, he's going to say sit. And here I am, my hands out, hands are out, hips are down, back straight, and I'm ready to defend. Now, he's got the stick in his right hand. We consider that his first move, okay? His tendency is going to be to move to the right because his stick's in the right hand. Because of that, I'm going to slightly drop step with my left foot mirroring that, okay? What we want to do in this situation here is we want to prevent him from taking a straight path to the goal, which is right there. We want to make him go.
If I play against a couple of the attacker we play against, you're not going to be able to turn him. So you got to find a way to still accomplish him, being able to turn that guy, being able to slide, whatever it is, and drive him away from the cage. So we talk about that a lot. And on top of that, we don't want to slide them behind the cage. If we're sliding to our defensive behind the cage, I got to do a better job recruiting. Okay? They're not supposed to get slid to. They're supposed to be the big meathead, athletic kids that can control their matchup. Right? So what we want to do is we want to learn how to make gradual contact. That's one of the big things for us. We use a stick. We'll also start off with our hands will line up. And I'll show you the drill. I don't want to pause it. I apologize. And what we want to do is use the offensive player's momentum to drive away from the cage. Every offensive player wants to climb the ladder. We talk about it, obviously, with the football field. They want to get up that ladder, so we want to take his momentum and drive him away from the cage. For us, the goal line is not where the goal line split is. It is 3 yards above and 3 yards below. That's the goal line to us. Because if I get to that guy 1 or 2 yards above and I can drive him away, some schools that's not good enough. For us, you know what? If he's going to shoot the ball like that and it goes in, then I got to recruit a better goalie. Okay, so we just got to make sure. A lot of us got recruiting, and it's unbelievable. But we just got to make sure we drive guys to certain spots on the field. And then the second part of that is defending the first move, which we talked about earlier in the corner drill, and then defending. Really get stressed. They have to fight to have success. Okay. Yes.
Are you running both attack? I mean, in your just.
Yeah, without a doubt, we'll do that. Obviously, all the opposite coaches are like, yeah, we'll just sub, we'll just run out. It's okay. I'm like, no, we're not. We will do that. This is great, actually. When I was at Willow, everybody starts at one side of the half. His initial move. If that guy's in that cylinder, you're not able to play the ball correctly. You don't even stick down. You don't take the proper steps. You're going to be in trouble. Okay, and running a rail in the cage. Anytime you cut through the crease, We all know we're not old school anymore. We used to pull the back of the cage and put the stake in the back of the cage and then go rail. Now every cage has a rail, which is the bottom piece of metal that finishes off the beak. We tell our guys, deep angles, run the rail of the cage. If you run the rail of the cage, it'll allow you to get through the crease and you'll be able to figure out your angle a lot easier. Okay, so we always start out with an approach, break down, okay? We want to talk about getting our hands upfield. These cones right here, that's just for the edge of the crease, fellas. Because we're on the sideline, obviously. I want to play in. We want to talk about being physical. A lot of coaches talk about being physical at the point of the cage. We want to be physical 5 yards below the goal line. You just have to now. You got to knock guys. There's a lot of guys. You know, Coach Cassis mentions all those guys who meatheads when they play attack. Well, guess what? That's some pretty big boys. We got to make sure we knock them off that line. Right here, this is where we want the offensive guy to get to. All right? If we're driving that offensive guy out to this point of the field, pretty tough for him to play. Okay? I don't care about playing, keeping your stick upfield.
Go! You just can't fucking do this. Yeah. Go! And all this just...
It's just fucking shadow dodging. You know what I mean? You worked on your cross arm, your butt fists, and you know, your holds and all that.
Push up! Good. Go! Person doesn't play with a stick.
He immediately brings his stick back over, and then the attacker just comes back upfield. That's something they practice at 7 and 7. So we want to, again, just kind of be a little bit more patient, sit down, wait, have him take 2 steps to X, making sure you know that he's going that way. A lot of times, once we get him, you know, kind of at 7 and 7, we'll say make him a wing dodger. So once we drop him off that dodge line, you know, there's no need to go out and play him and force him to the cage. We want to make sure we re-square our feet up and make him a wing dodger. Again, reset the feet if necessary. And then the other thing we talk about is, you know, tackling, get upfield. Are they going to the goal? Are they just feeding? We don't want to overplay a feeder and force them to go to the cage. So that's something that you kind of have to talk about, and we'll show you a little bit more film on that. Drive away, this is just an example of the guy getting upfield and what you do once he's upfield, he's there. Now here, we're just trying to drive him to the corner of the box here or the corner of the end line, not, you know, forcing the inside roll or getting him away. So if he does take a shot, our goalie can, you know, get a good vision of it, get a good view of it. Upfield, this is really the important thing. And right here, a lot of defenders will have a tendency to put this hand on him right here, and if that happens, automatically he has to dodge upfield. You have to practice this. We practice this a lot, keeping that stick upfield and keeping that V-hold. And you're not; these guys are not as strong in the V-hold, and they have to be taught that it's more about body here and not pushing, but they have to keep their stick upfield. In this scenario, if their stick's behind him, we do slide from the crease. This guy's going to see it coming, and it's not going to be an effective slide. He does a pretty good job of the drive. It depends on what your philosophy is with checking. Basically, my philosophy is we want to force everybody through X. You can throw checks until you get to X. Once you get past X, right here, you can see how his drop step is, or he's not square, he set up his drop step. So basically, what he's saying to this guy is, I want you to go right-handed. I know you're going to go right-handed. My upper body is square with my stick out. My lower body is set up so my first step is with you, not a drop step. So there is no advantage by this guy taking off. And essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to take the change of direction out of the offensive player's repertoire, because that's what's hard to cover, is that change of direction, right? Become reactive as opposed to being proactive and telling them which way to go. Here's a guy, here's an example of going back, jumping over the cage, keeping the guy through X, beating him to a spot, playing good defense, being forceful up the goal line extent. Agility.
This at the edge of the paint. Okay? I'm going to put this at the edge of the paint right here. This is really interesting. Got to break down, and we talk about playing on the window pane. We don't want this guy to cross this window pane. So we're going to be physical, break down the good approach, get our hands on the guy, and drive him to that cone. Obviously, that guy got inside that cone. That's a pretty good job right there. We're being physical, maintaining contact, not allowing a roll back. All right, hands a little bit too high.
The offensive player gets thrown out of the channel, he has to re-enter from that point and re-attack. And again, we're trying to teach V-holds, we're trying to teach drop step, we're trying to teach how to channel a guy to his weak hand or the short space. And again, trying to expose and develop that confrontational personality that you need to play really good defense and to be a good rider. And you can do this with a variety of your personnel. We use it with our short stick D middies and our long stick middies and our close defensemen to, again, create those the technique and the attitude of defending. And so you can see here we have a player playing the offensive role, and now this may be two defensemen, a defenseman playing the offensive role and a defenseman playing the defensive role. The other hash. You're going to fight into the other hash. Actually, Connor, do me a favor. Go grab a couple of cones and put them on the middle of the other hash. Me? What's that? No, Connor. Okay? So you guys have the 35 to the 40. You have the 25 to the 30. You guys have the 15 to the 20. The first two guys step up. One guy's on offense, one guy's defense. When you get thrown out of your channel, you have to come right back in from that point. So, outside of tackling, it's fucking all good. All right? Playing hard. What's that? What's that? Yeah. No punching, no fucking body blows, nothing in the neck and face area. Alright? You got it. Good. Right? No ball. No ball. Right? You got to touch the cone at the other end. You got the 25 to the 30. Yes. Right? Here we go, right? Actually, give me a fourth group. Down there, you got the 45 to the 50. Right? Here we go. Right? No, get him out of the thing, he's out, get him back in. Come back in where he came out. Drive him. No, come back in. Offensive guys, look at him out. Make contact, offense. Let's go, run him, Dave. Yeah, no, step back, get some space. Let's go, come on, drive him, keep your chin up. Come on, Dave, attack him. Keep it out, drive him, keep your chin up. Come on, Dave, get more elusive than that, Dave. Go, make it work. Come back in, you guys have to come. Offense, don't make this easy on him. Make contact with him before he gets his hands on you. Chin up. You're out. Get by him, Connor. Back there. Come on. I'm hot. I'm hot here. Come on. Hot. Some situations that our defensemen will find themselves in. We'll typically have the rep go on for about 10 seconds, and we're trying to teach is our stance, our poise, our ability to orient ourselves as the ball moves within an offense and the ball is being transferred either across X or from hash to hash between midfielders. And then at the end of the drill, we're going to have a slide. A guy will finish his approach and execute a slide onto the ball. So again, you'll see it in action when we show you the drill out on the field in the Loftus Center. But again, this is another kind of standard drill within our playbook, teaching our guys how to move when they're in the crease, how to prepare for a slide, and how to execute a slide within the pieces of a motion offense. Thank you for watching. We appreciate your feedback and look forward for more drills from Coach Corrigan and Coach Korrick on NDLax TV. Go Irish.
Stay right.
Now this next drill we're doing is called Princeton Slide Drill. All right, and what we're doing here in this drill is we're pretending that we got a tough matchup in a game. When they get the matchup up top, we're gonna come quickly to the ball, all right? And then we're gonna practice on rotating back and covering our man quickly. As soon as he starts dodging, we go. We got a quick slide. We gotta go with the inside. Again, we get it around once live in a 4-on-4 situation with a crease man. Now the crease man's gonna be hot. All right, he's gonna be sliding early. As soon as he comes out of the dodge, he's going. We're covering the crease on the backside. Now we gotta match up.
Just a different way of doing a 1v1 drill, but I'm a big fan of it because I want to see how is the defender going from off ball to becoming on ball as he approaches, breaking down, getting his stick out in front, getting his hands on the offensive player. I like it for an offensive perspective as well. These men now have to catch the ball and evaluate decision making. Where is the defender? Is the defender on me? Do I have to dodge him? Is the defender off me? Do I just shoot the ball? So we'll go through the two examples. Coach Wilson will fire the ball to Nate Odell. He fires this ball on that pass. Go ahead. Todd Fiello will approach as fast as he can, but then he's got to break down once he gets there. If he can get his stick out on Nate Odell's gloves and hands, great. If Nate catches the ball and finds Todd already on him, the offensive player here, Nate, cannot shoot. So now he's got to make the decision, I've got to try to be a dodger. Maybe I split down the side as he just did. Maybe from here I try to roll back to the middle. Either way, it's a 1v1 drill. But I like it because, again, it's more of a team defensive slide package where Todd's got to make, he may have been the second or third slide in our defensive scheme, helped cover the crease. The ball's been thrown over the top to Nate Odell. He's got to fly back out to his man. Now it's 1v1. The second option that could happen here is, let's say Todd was a little slow to get out to Nate. When that ball arrived to Nate, Nate should make the decision, well, guess what? It's time to bring the hammer 10, 12 yards, shoot the ball. Okay? So this is the general drill. We're going to go through a bunch of reps here. We ask this offensive player to catch the ball about 13, 14 yards. If he catches it too high up, he's too far away to be a shooting threat. If he catches it too close, it's easy for our defender to get right on his hands. Okay, let's go through a bunch of reps. Great job by Nate. Bad job by Todd breaking down. We got to get that breakdown, get our stick, get our hands on him. Go ahead. Let's play to drive. Everything was great there, Joe Orloff, until we try to go over the head. Okay, keep driving, keep pushing him. You did a good job there. Here we go. Stop right there. A great fake by the offensive player there. Got number 44, Peter Fallon, to actually turn his side a little bit. We're asking our defensemen, you got to be brave in this drill. You got to sit there. All right? Get in that crouch stance. If he winds up, all right, get your stick on his hands. Nice take. Nice take. One more. Nice shot. Nice rip. The general drill can be done from different angles as well. In this one, we've had, okay, Joe Orloff, let's hear the communication. You're hot. I'm hot. Okay. Dodge coming up top center. Here we go. Nice handle. We got to chop that stick. Peter Fallon, 44, did a nice job recovering, getting in there, but still able to make that handle. Okay. Here we go. Good. Nice job. Right there, what I had the crease offensive player 46 do was during the dodge and the pass down the side, go ahead, Jeffrey, show it again. I had Jeffrey do a high C cut to make himself more of an outlet. And Joe Orloff did a nice job of just finding 46 and not worrying about anything else. Critical with the slide schemes
is when you've been slid for, when you're running into the crease, don't look at the ball. I've oftentimes done this drill and I've seen people slid for, they stare at the outlet. Don't stare at the outlet. Look right in here. Let's do a couple more reps.
I'm hot.
Good. Okay. We can also change this angle here. Let's get a Dodger. Mike Miller, go to X. You be an outlet at X. Let's dodge the wing now. So it's the same drill. We're just going to have an outlet at a different spot. Okay, Peter Fallon, you're still hot 44. Here we go. It's a hell of a handle. Nice handle there. Okay, nice crease cut. Again, by 46 trying to get around him. Peter Fallon did a nice job. Well done, fellas. 2v2, Phil. And he can be talking to Peter. Peter, you can go. I've got you. You're hot. I've got you. You can go. The more communication between these two, the more trust. And the more trust, the better chances when we do slide, we're not leaving somebody wide open in the crease. So we're just going to jog through this drill at this point. We've got a Dodger up top. Peter's hot. There's a Phil. Let's say we decide to go. Go. Stop right there. And there Joe Orloff has filled into the crease. Sticks in on the crease man right there, covering it up. We've left the furthest man open, number 39, Mike, but it's fine for now. Take care of the most dangerous and cover that up from there. Good. So now what to do with number 3. With our rules at Brown, when you've been slid for in that recovery, you've got to find the open man. For the purpose of this drill, Todd may just fly right all the way over to number 39, and now we're matched back up. We have some other ways of doing our recovery, but we'll keep it simple now for this 3 versus 3 drill. Now what we can do if we're just jogging through this, and it's a good way to teach this, is now just have number 46 run back up like he's dodging again. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for my hot man, who's now Joe Orloff, a different person. And there's Todd, number 3, is the Phil. Go ahead. Go. Phil. Recover. Bang. Okay? Now, go ahead and jog back up there and re-dodge for us. Good. Go back up there and redo it. There's our hot. There's our Phil. Who's my... Good. And stop right there. We could do this full speed with a ball. It's obviously more realistic. But what I like to do is slow this down. The way we just did the drill there, a man went from being hot to being on ball to then recovering to be Phil. So each player learns the different roles as we go through this scheme. We can now move the players around. During a dodge, he would still slide hot from the crease, but our second slide comes from the top midfielder down in. Okay, just as he did, and then we have a recovery, which in this case, he can recover up to the open man and cover that right there. Let's bang the ball to Nate. Same thing. Now it comes the other way. Peter Fallon's hot. Who's Phil right now? Joe, you talk about it. Talk about being Phil right now. He's that second slide. He's telling Peter, you can go. I've got you. This is a different type of slide scheme. Sliding with your middies being a second slide instead of using a fender down here to second slide in. The concerns with this is you're often relying on middies to do the second slide, which is a very important slide, leaving number 39 wide open in the crease if we don't get there. The advantage is with this top-down second slide scheme is you tend to cover up the crease and the low stuff, giving up outside shots. And if you have confidence in your goalie, you can do this. For example, let's go through this one. Nate dodges down the side. Stop right there. We're leaving a top offensive player open while number 3 recovers. If they've got big-time outside shooters, maybe this isn't the slide scheme, but it can be a good slide scheme if you have a lot of confidence in your goalie and maybe the offensive opposition doesn't have the great outside shot.
Bump, Joe, bump, Joe. I'm hot, I'm hot.
Good. You got a hot. Phil. Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. Well done. Well done.
This next drill that we're doing is called 4-on-4 slide to hub drill. We're working on our cross crease slide behind the goal. You see the defensemen are playing at about 75% to start the drill. They will overplay. The attackman will inside roll so that we can get a cross crease slide. We'll get a couple cross crease slides with everybody rotating, and then we'll get the ball up top, and then we'll be live.
What you want to do offensively, our rules for these drills is that every 2 passes you have to dodge, and then on that dodge, you have to slot. Because if you don't beat anybody, it's kind of, it defeats the purpose of the drill. So we tell our guys, so our offense guys are like, oh, I'm definitely getting slid through. This is awesome. The second guy, I'm going to go and make something happen. And the offense get a little more free-flowing. Right? But being able to do that now dictates to them, okay, this is what we need to do. Really simple. I'm another guy who just names a drill after myself.
Hot. What?
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Ryan, stick leads, Ryan, stick leads. Ryan, stick leads, Ryan, stick leads. Ryan, stick leads, Ryan, stick leads. Just stick out, Ryan, that's how you check the ball away. Go! Sooner. Go. 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 Go.
Create how to have responsibility for an interior offensive player, as well as have awareness to dodges and pressures that's on the perimeter. So you can see this drill set up. These X's can be cones, can be a ball, can be players, however you want to set it up. And then the interior will put a cone here as well. And then what we're trying to do is we're trying to get him to pivot and approach, make an approach out to this cone or these players out on the perimeter, as well as having awareness and sneaking peeks back into the interior of the defense. So he's making some linear approaches out, and you'll also see him recover kind of in a semicircle. You'll see him sneak a peek back into his interior slide responsibility, and then make a longer approach, or maybe a half approach, or a show, but don't go. And then he'll end the drill with a ground ball, a fire ground ball, which is any ground ball that takes place here in the front porch within the hashes of our defensive end. And so within a minute, if he's doing this by himself, he's testing his conditioning, he's testing his off-ball awareness, he's testing his footwork, and then he's going to end it with a ground ball that he has to execute and escape when he's tired. So I've kind of summarized the teaching points here, that you can do this by yourself, that you're starting in an athletic stance, and you're finishing in an athletic stance, and then through the 360 degrees that he'll travel throughout this drill. Because if he starts here, he'll finish here. So he's going to go in a full circle, pivoting, recovering, sliding, and approaching. That's going to test him. It's going to test him mentally. It's going to test him physically. It's going to test him to be alert to the pressures on the perimeter as well as his responsibility in the interior. Thanks for watching. We think this is a great drill that guys can do not only by themselves, but also in small groups. Right? What we're setting up here is what we call asterisk drill, where we're trying to reinforce the pivoting principles, sneaking a peek when you're in a slide roll from the crease, having awareness of your interior responsibility, as well as continuing to evaluate the quality of a dodge, pivoting in relation to a carry either from X or a sweep or an alley dodge, as well as being prepared to listen to communication. Now, he's out there by himself. We do this drill not only with a full group, but solo, and trying to get a repetitiveness, a 1 minute repetition. Georgia, do an asterisk. Sneak those peaks too, Glebo, right? Yeah. And finish on, get some slides in there as well.
Get them in?
Yeah, get them in. Yeah, don't end with it, but then pretty soon. All right.
Stay left, stay left.
Keep pivoting, read that dodge, sneak a peek to the crease.
Stay right, stay right.
You can grab a ground ball now, finish one of these off, right?
Five.
Gets a hockey out.
Circle. So as we're working here, you'll see the full, that's one full rotation. We have a ground ball which is now driving up the field. If there's a defender on that man, that defender we are hoping is going to drive with him, and if he doesn't stop him, doesn't turn him back, then we're just going to run up the field. So as this thing picks up and we start to move here, you'll see it on this next rotation. We want to have an explosive move up the field. So here we are, we're running up the field. He's left-handed. We usually have a coach positioned over there on that side, encouraging, asking, demanding, drive up the field, drive up the field, drive up the field. Because if we can just run up the field, all these other passes don't matter. So now, the second part of that is as we're now working, ground ball, drive up the field, drive up the field. That's not good enough, right? We want to drive up the field. If we're forced to roll back, our rollback options, one of those is the overpass, and now this is now just working the ball up the field.
Taste it, Rolly!
Pulls him out of ground ball. He scoops it up. He turns one way or another based on what his teammates telling him to turn left or turn right. Finishes his turn, throws the first pass. After he throws this pass, he breaks over the shoulder. gets a second pass over the shoulder, comes out of that big turn, throws the pass back to his partner, who now rolls him a ground ball too. He scoops it and he will flip it to his to the next guy in line. And so the guy who's just rolling out the ground balls is turn left, PA, turn left. Hey, left. Here you go. This one more. Back, Israel. Break. Flip beans. All right, Brem's all right. Come back. Break. Okay. Turn left. Turn left, Boris. Turn left. Sit down some flip. One more.
So this is one of the drills that we like to start our practice with. It's a redirect up and over drill here. We run with our defense. Okay, basically we're looking for our defenseman to handle the ball. We're looking to get the proper spacing, make sure they're timing up their movements and their banana cuts and those things. The key is to roll out of pressure, keep the ball moving hot, make sure the passes are on a dart and not looping or rainbow passes, and we get these guys rolling pretty good, okay? If they drop the pass or throw the pass out of bounds, we'll get a pyro call and they'll sprint back into the hole, and we'll incorporate some conditioning into it. So we'll show you what this looks like, or what it should look like here right now. Coach, on you, let's go.
Shot.
There's a shot. He's gonna go with one of his defensemen. Defenseman's gonna get the ball up top. He's gonna get it back.
Over, Tommy.
32's going to run towards the ball if he needs to. And boom, that's how it should look. And that'll help us get our clearing game. We'll get another group in there here. Let's get another group. Want to go same group, Coach? Okay.
Yep.
Get another ball. That one obviously is no good.
Let's go.
Get a shot here. Boom. Let's get a break call.
Sticks to the outside.
Get our two base defense in the flat break out. Pass it. He'll roll out of pressure. Move it up. He'll get it back. We want the ball to move quick here. Okay, we want the ball to move quick here.
Hey, right up, Bruce. Right up.
Boom here. Get our hands free. Okay, and process it. Okay, we want to do a good job of getting the ball up and getting the lane and good things. Coach, let's get one more group.
Let's go, new group.
Let's get a new group in there. New 3.
There we go.
Again, this is our redirect over the top drill. It's one that we try to run every day, or some form of it every day. Coach, let's get it going. Let's get a break. Now, if you notice, we'll use defensemen down low. We have a short stick midi up top, handling the ball. Okay, they have to be involved in this as well. Okay, and we got the goalie communicating. He should be communicating. Number 25 is doing a good job there. Number 49 does a good job of rolling out of pressure and getting the pass up. Pyro. They turn that ball around, okay, turn that ball over, they sprint to the box. They sprint back in. That's a key component here. They don't want to keep sprinting into the hole. They better handle the ball. One more time, Coach.
Here we go. Shot. Let's get that break call. Come on, Chafe.
Number 11 does a good job of turning out. Pyro. Let's go. Get in the hole. Get in the hole. We'll give these 3 another shot here, Coach. Another shot. Come on, guys. Well, 3 pyros. No way 3 pyros here. Number 11 doing a good job of turning to the outside. Gets to 6. 6 goes back to 11. 11's going to go over the top. The 49's going to roll out of pressure. Good job to the outside. And he's going to hit 6. Okay, having a hard time making that pass, but this is why we work on that every day. Okay, start the ball where? We'll start the ball there at the far corner. Okay, and Coach will give us a whistle here, and we'll get these guys started, and we'll do pretty different basic parts of this drill. Run to the ball, turn to the outside, big turns, get our hands free. Bigger turns, please. Handle the ball. Again, it's okay to drop a pass, but we want to keep it in bounds, and we want to make sure that we get the ground ball pretty quick. Want to make sure we're rounding off our turns, making our passes. Okay, we'll get our goalies involved in this drill, obviously. Okay, they have to stick handle as good as anybody. Okay, we'll have another ball waiting. That'll happen every now and then. That's because 23 didn't snap the pass like he needed to. Okay, and we stood flat-footed receiving the ball. 11 did a good job of shortening the pass. So did number 40 here. Okay, he's rounding it out, making a good snap pass. Okay, they're using both hands. On one side, they're using their right hand. On another side, they're using their left hand. Okay, depending on how we run this drill. Right now, they're in a situation where they're all turning to their right hand.
Your job is to get from one spot to the other as quickly as you can. What's important to me?
Sticky, watch out.
One more, no.
Right back.
Yeah, one more. He can bend.
In front of you, square hip to the ball. Good. There you go. Other hand. Make the ball playable.
Hey, who's up? Yeah, right here.
Catch every ball, catch every ball.
Here we go, rolling.
Here we go. Back to the right, right? Switch hands. Here we go.
Get it out of your stick.
Let's go.
Faster.
Get the names. Come on, guys. Tighten up on these ground balls. All right? Hey, ground ball. Break it down. I got you. Right here. Come on. Let's go. Come together. Feet low. There you go. Get him going. Here you go. One more. Sorry. I'm ready to move. Yes, Scott. Help Jack. Oh, yeah, I got you. Hey, back. Pass right here.
Hey, give it, Jordan.
Much better, guys. I love it. Here we go. Here top. Sorry, Cody. Stay in bounds, guys. You shouldn't have to keep saying it. Tyler, you're cutting it off too short. Round it. Right hand down.
You go up.
Start.
We're going.
Pick this up.
Yo, six.
Now we're playing.
Lombardo.
Now look, I'm riding attack.
Hit me.
That's riding attack, folks. That's it. Let's go. I'm picking that one off. Let's go.
Who's got one?
Catch that ball in between your legs, not off to the side. Good. In between your legs, not off to the side. That's good, Jake. Sense. Excellent. Excellent, guys. Lombardo, when you get the go Tommy, no.
Ben.
Yeah, here you go, Bert.
Right here, Rob, right here. Yeah, Frank. Shut up. Go. Back, Mike. Take it out, Rain. Yeah, Frank. Right here, Rob. Shut up. One up. Right here, Rob. Right here. Here you go, Fish. Here you go, Matt. Yeah, Frank. Go, roll. Great. Get him, Rob, right here. Here you go, Fish. This game right here. One for white.
This next drill is, we call it the hockey drill. We work the cones and they manipulate the ball down through like a hockey stick. Then they scoop the ground ball like the roll of pressure and they throw it back to the coach. During an awkward situation in a game, guys coming on them, they don't have time to scoop it, they need to redirect it, all right? And they redirect the ball and then scoop the ball up and throw it back to the coach with a good redirect. Mostly. All right, this next drill is known as passing routes. All right, we're reinforcing breaking away from our defender, a little token pressure and catching the ball over our shoulder in some tight space, all right, with a guy on us. Let's not break until we get to 7 yards. Don't break until you get to 7 yards. Again, this is just another drill for the defensemen to do while we're doing our shooting drills at the other end. Also, all these drills are relative to our clearing game and our settled clears and our unsettled clears. This drill reinforces eye-hand coordination. All right, reinforces just another drill for the defenseman to do when we're working our shooting at the other end. Again, to increase their stick skills, all right, and their ability to manipulate the ball, all right, in awkward situations. All right, this next drill we call bob and weave. All right, it's with a wide grip ground ball. and we're weaving low with our stick low through the cones as if we're trying to get out and under for some sticks in traffic.
Those three offensive players making a defender play at least two of his roles in our defense. For us, we talk about being on ball, we talk about being adjacent, or we talk about being in the hole. So right now our defender, our defense is about three different things: being on ball, being adjacent, or being in the hole. Right now our defender is either in the hole or an adjacent. So as an adjacent, he goes out to play the ball. Now he's on ball. So he comes out, he plays the ball, he's in a position where he's going to put pressure on the ball. As a new adjacent, he's now working back inside to the hub and looking to help out, play team defense. The focus of this drill is taking away the skip pass. So the way that we do that is we work back inside, and as we're working back inside, we look over our shoulder to find the skip lane so we're not blindly going inside. So we work out to play the ball, we can put pressure there, and as we work back and inside, we open up to the ball, we just peek over our shoulder in a position where we can make that interception. If we can take away that skip pass, we can play great team defense. So we start, we're inside, we're playing team defense, we're in a position now, we work out to the ball with pressure on the ball, we look away, and now we're working to find that skip. The way that the drill works is you don't leave until you've made an interception. So you'll be in there, and you could stay in there for a while. Sometimes as a changeup, even if you make a catch, even if you intercept the ball, we'll say, hey, that's a great job, do it again. So we have two sides of this drill. So at the same time that one side is working in and working out, we'll have the other side doing the same exact thing. So we have offensive guys and we have defensive guys in the drill. So we're working out, and we want communication.
Drill, a three-step drop, just like a quarterback, and we swing the ball over to the other side of the field. Then we rotate over to the other side, three-step drop, and we get a hard redirect with our opposite hand across the field. This next drill is called 4v2 rotation drill. All right, we're just working our defensemen, keeping their sticks in the passing lanes. All right, as they come out, they're always going to rotate their sticks to the inside. We're working on breaking down as they come out, recovering, talking, communication, and we're working on our drop step. All right, this next drill is called 4v3. We're rotating in triangles, just like a good defense. We got man ball, we got back right, we got back left. We're working on breaking down, sticks in the passing lanes. Again, we're working on a good drop step every time.
So the next drill we want to show you is our 4v3 support and approach drill. Okay, the four gentlemen on the outside are the offensive players moving the ball. Okay, the three gentlemen inside will be making one of three calls. They'll be calling, they'll call ball, one left, one right, okay? And they will be rotating depending on where the ball is. We're not going to do any skip passes here. We're just going to move the ball from cone to cone. Okay, they can redirect it if they want. They can move it whatever direction they want. We just don't want them to skip it up. A couple of things we're looking for is the approach, the breakdown. We're looking for one left, one right. We want our guys to be broken down. We want their sticks up to be in the lane. As Coach Koch said, we want our guys to make sure they're sprinting off the passes. and make sure they're breaking down on their approaches. We'll use this every day as well to kind of get our guys in the movement that they need to get into. It is a key ingredient to the movement of the game of defense, the way we play it. Okay, it's key to be able to approach this, and we always want to make sure we have our support one and left. So we'll go this right here. We'll go with this live here for a couple of minutes. So number 19 has the ball. He passes the ball. Okay. Number 40 approaches, ball, one left, one right. Okay, make another pass. We'll do it slow here to start. Okay, again, we got a ball, we got our approach, support one left, one right, move it again. Okay, you'll see 21 do a good job approaching. Okay, he's got number 2 and number 40 as his support. Okay, move the ball again. Okay, so that is the gist of the drill. What we want to do is kind of show you a little bit of full speed, and we want to show with the ball changing directions a little bit too. We're not going to always spin the ball around in one direction. We're going to move it around as much as we can, make the inside defensive players react. The defensive players are in a triangle, one on the ball, one left, one right, as we said, and they should be doing a real good job. You should be able to hear them communicating step by step. Let's see it, guys. Go.
Okay, let's go. Let's make sure we got those 6 up on the inside. Take away those skip lanes. Take away that skip lane. There we go. Opening the...
Move it faster, move it faster. The other thing this does is it allows the defense to handle the ball a little bit too. Okay, we want our defensemen to be able to handle the ball as well as our offensive players. So it's real key that every drill we do with stick handling, that they're doing a good job of making the passes, moving their feet when they make the passes, and doing the right things.